Once there was a little girl named Sara. She lived in a small village with her parents and younger brother. Sara was only 10 years old, but she was very kind, strong, and smart. Her family was not rich. Her father worked in the fields, and her mother cooked food at a small restaurant in the village. They worked very hard, but still had little money. Sara understood this and never asked for expensive things. Every day, Sara walked 3 kilometers to her school. She loved to learn new things. Her favorite subject was English. She wanted to speak English fluently one day and become a teacher to help other children like her. One day, something bad happened. There was a big storm in her village. The rain was heavy, and the river nearby overflowed. Water entered the houses, and many families lost their homes. Sara's house was also damaged. They had to move to a shelter. In the shelter, there were many people. It was noisy and cold. Sara missed her home and her books. But she did not cry. She stayed strong for her brother. She gave him her blanket and told him stories at night to make him smile. Even when things were hard, Sara didn't stop learning. She used a broken pencil and a torn notebook to write. She asked volunteers in the shelter to teach her some English words every day. She learned words like hope, brave, strong, and future. One day, a kind woman from the city came to the shelter. She was a teacher and spoke good English. She saw Sara teaching some children in a corner. Sara was using a stick to draw letters in the sand. The woman was surprised and asked Sara why she was teaching. Sara smiled and said, "Because I want to help others learn. One day, I will be a real teacher." The woman was very touched. She spoke to Sara's parents and decided to help her. She gave her new books, a school bag, and offered her a place in a good school in the city with a scholarship. Sara moved to the city and started going to the new school. It was not easy for her in the beginning. The city was big, and the language was different. But she never gave up. She studied hard, helped her classmates, and always remembered where she came from. After some years, Sara became one of the best students in her school. She wrote a short story in English about her journey, and it was published in a school magazine. Everyone clapped for her. Sara's life in the city was very different from the village. There were tall buildings, busy streets, and so many people. Sometimes, she felt lost. But she always remembered her dream, to become a teacher and help others. In her new school, everything was in English. At first, she found it hard to understand. The other children spoke fast. She made mistakes while speaking and reading. Some students laughed at her accent. Sara felt sad, but she didn't stop. Every night, she read her English books and practiced in front of a mirror. She learned 5 new English words every day. She wrote them in her notebook and used them in sentences. One of her favorite words was believe. She often told herself, "I believe in me." One day, her teacher gave a small English speech project to the class. Each student had to speak for 1 minute. Sara was nervous. Her hands shook, and her voice was low. But she spoke about her village, her family, and why learning was important to her. When she finished, the room was silent for a moment. Then her teacher clapped. "That was brave, Sara," she said. "You spoke from your heart." From that day, things started to change. More students talked to her. Some even asked her for help with English homework. She felt more confident. She joined the school's English club and began writing short stories. One weekend, she visited her village again. The people there were happy to see her. She told the children stories in English and explained the meanings in their language. The children listened with bright eyes. They wanted to learn too. Sara saw her old house. It was still damaged, but her parents were slowly fixing it. She hugged her brother and gave him a storybook. Let's read together, she said. That evening, under the stars, she read him a story about a little bird who learned to fly even after falling many times. Her brother smiled and said, "Just like you, Appa." Sara smiled. "Yes, just like me. And one day, you will fly too." She returned to the city with more strength in her heart. Her journey was still hard, but she was not afraid anymore. She was not just a girl from a village. She was a girl with a dream, and the courage to follow it. Back at school, Sara was growing stronger every day. Her English was improving fast. She could now write small essays, have conversations with her teachers, and even help her friends. She still made mistakes, but she was not afraid of them anymore. Every mistake was a step toward learning. One day, her English teacher told the class about a writing competition. The topic was, "My Biggest Dream." Sara became excited. That night, she sat down with her notebook and began to write. She wrote about her village, the big storm, and how she continued learning even in the shelter. She wrote about the kind teacher who helped her and how she now wants to help other children. Her dream was not only to become a teacher but to build a small school in her village, where all children could learn, even if they were poor. When she finished the essay, her eyes were full of tears. Not because she was sad, but because she was proud of how far she had come. She gave her essay to the teacher the next day. A week later, something amazing happened. The principal called her to the office and said, "Sara, your essay was beautiful. You have won the first prize in the whole district." Sara was shocked. "Really, sir?" "Yes," he smiled. "You will go to the city hall next week and read your essay in front of many people." Sara was both excited and scared. She had never spoken in front of so many people before. But she remembered her favorite word, believe. At the city hall, she stood on the stage. Her hands were cold, but her heart was warm. She began to speak slowly and clearly. People listened carefully as she told her story. Some had tears in their eyes. When she finished, the room clapped loudly. A woman from a news channel came and said, "Sara, your story has touched our hearts. Can we share it on TV?" Sara nodded shyly. That night, her story was shown on the news. People from different places saw it. Many sent her letters, books, and school supplies. A charity group even offered to help her start a small learning center in her village. Sara was overjoyed. She hugged her parents and said, "This is not just my win. It's for all the children who dream." Sara's life changed after the news story. Many people appreciated her courage and determination. But Sara remained the same humble girl. She still woke up early, helped her mother, studied hard, and read English books with love. With help from kind people, a small learning center was built in her village. It was made of simple bricks and had only 2 rooms, but it was full of hope. Sara named it the Lighthouse, because she believed even a small light can guide someone lost in darkness. Every weekend, she traveled to her village to teach children there. She used pictures, stories, and songs to make learning fun. She taught them English words, basic math, and also life lessons, like being kind, helping others, and never giving up. Her little brother was her biggest fan. He would sit in the front row every time, eyes shining with pride. One day, he told her, "I will be a teacher like you, Appa." Sara smiled and said, "Yes, you will. And even better." As time passed, Sara grew older. She finished school with top marks and got a scholarship for college. She chose to study English and education. During college, she also gave talks at schools and community centers, sharing her journey and inspiring others. Many girls from small villages started writing to her. Some said, "You gave me courage." Others wrote, "Because of you, I started dreaming again." Sara kept all those letters in a box. Whenever she felt tired or faced a hard day, she opened that box and read a few lines. It gave her strength. Years later, she became a real teacher, just like she dreamed. On her first day at her own school, she stood in front of the class and said, "I was once like many of you. I came from a small village. Life was not easy. But dreams are powerful. If you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible." The children looked at her with wide eyes, full of hope. Sara never forgot her past. Every month, she returned to her village and taught at the lighthouse. It had now grown. There were more books, more children, and even 2 other teachers helping her. The girl who once wrote words in the sand with a stick was now building a future for many. Sara's story became a symbol of courage. Not because she had everything, but because she made something beautiful out of very little. Her journey reminded everyone that even the smallest voice can bring the biggest change, if it is filled with courage, kindness, and belief.